Hola, and welcome, bienvenidos, to another edition of Time Out Over Time on the Time Out Over Time YouTube channel, live and direct from the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. I'm Rick Arsenal. You know the drill by now. If you haven't done so, please get down to the quarter and smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I can't thank you enough. And remember, whoever the next subscriber is, you will win. You will be the winner if you are the next subscriber. And you're asking, what do we win? How about my undying gratitude? I can't thank you enough for watching and listening. Thank you very much. uh, Talking a little bit of a lower tone or voice today, so bear with me on that. I hope you can hear me all right. Baseball. Let's get that out of the way first, shall we? I want it made clear right here and now that I did not watch the Tiger game, nor did I listen to it because I bailed on this team a couple of weeks ago when I predicted they wouldn't win another game. And I don't think they have since I said that. I think they're, 5-14 now in the month of September. Anyway, I heard about the bizarre Twilight Zone like sixth inning, so I had to go back, look at it on YouTube. Tigers took a 2-0 lead, apparently at the bottom of the sixth, following a Riley Green home run. Scuball had pitched 5 scoreless innings, and Stephen Kwan bunt single, another bunt down the first base line. Jerry Scuball with his back to first base, hikes the ball between his legs without even looking. A long snapper in football or something like that. Of course, it sails over Torkelson's head and down the right field line. Now you got second and third, nobody out. A swinging bunt hit by Jose Ramirez. Couldn't have rolled it out there any better. There was a balk, a wild pitch. David Fry of the Guardians attempting to bunt. Scuball threw one high and inside. And in doing so, he got the bat on the ball. But ricocheted off the bat and hit him in the face. So he was down for a while. They carted him off. That seemed to shake Scuball up quite a bit. He then committed a balk, another ground ball out. Anyway, bottom line is Cleveland scored 3 runs without hitting the ball out of the infield. And it was pretty much over after that. They did add 2 more runs, I believe, in the 7th, take a 5-2 lead. Tigers struck out 19 times last night. 19 times. 39 swings and misses. I talked to someone who was at the game, and they said they look defeated. I think loss of confidence. That's one of the reasons I said I don't think they'll win another game. Listening to games in LA when I lived out there, Don Drysdale doing the Dodger games, former player, Hall of Fame pitcher, always said while he was broadcasting, if you start to doubt yourself just a little bit, just a little bit, you're in a whole heap of trouble. I often think about that when I see scenarios play out like this. They look like a defeated team. So the Guardians have the tiebreaker now because they won the season series. Yeah, they're tied right now. Look, even if the Tigers were to win the next two games, yeah, they've got a two-game lead, but the Cleveland's got the tiebreaker. Uh, Even if they were to win the next two games, they probably still have to take 2 out of 3 in Boston. They're in other words, they'd have to, in order to get in order to win the division. This, simply put, what have they got? 5 games left. Yeah, they'd have to win 4 of the next 5. That's not going to happen. So it'll be interesting on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week when Scott Harris and AJ Hinch sit down before the media and have their post-season press conference. That should be interesting. Yeah, won't that be interesting? Who's culpable for all this? Scott Harris? AJ Hinch? More than anything, the players, I think. Anyway, sad, historic, very historical. This even riles the 78 Red Sox meltdown at the end of the season. Yankees overtook them. We thought that was pretty historical back then when Bucky Dent, they were playing in Boston, hit that infamous 3-run homer. That was a long time ago. Anyway, let's do that's enough for baseball. Yeah, they play tonight. I'm sorry, I'm all done. I will have an interest to see what they have to say next week, as I said, in the post-season press conference. But other than that, I'm out. I'm out of it. We have a football team to talk about right now, and we're going to do that after I get my uh, sponsor commitments out of the way. We're brought to you in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet and M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. And I'm here to remind you that October is truck month at Frank Beck Chevrolet. October is truck month at Frank Beck Chevrolet. On M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville, 517-849-2886. Get in there and experience the Frank Beck Chevrolet difference. On M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville, Frank Beck Chevrolet. Chevrolet together, let's drive Chevy Drive, Southern Michigan. And of course, Frank Beck Chevrolet is the #1 selling Chevrolet dealer in our immediate tri-state area. Oh. Pardon me. We're also brought to you in part by Barrett Insurance. It's BarrettINS.com. Barrett Insurance, protecting your dreams in downtown Jonesville on the corner of M99 and US 12. 517-849-1000. Barrett Insurance, BarrettINS.com. Barrett Insurance, protecting your dreams. I'm not going to say a whole lot about college football because Michigan State and Michigan both have a bye this week. So a week from Saturday, they're both at home. Yeah, Michigan plays Wisconsin. State will host UCLA in a noontime start, 9 o'clock Pacific time. So anyway, the Lions, where to begin? Fantastic performance. I don't think I've ever seen a more complete performance from this team in prime time like this. Final score was 38-30, folks, and the score wasn't that close. Everybody, from the defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, to the great job that he did keeping Lamar Jackson bottled up. Lions had 7 sacks. The offensive line was a thing of beauty. As I've got the PFF grades here from Pro Football Focus, Penei Sewell and Tate Ratledge got 2 of the highest run blocking grades ever issued by Pro Football Focus. The line was superb. They kept Goff clean as they had the last couple of weeks. Opening week at Green Bay, Goff was sacked 4 times. He hadn't been sacked since. So I've got 3 pages of notes here in which I wrote down in the course of watching the game. First of all, I'll say this. The Lions have soared in the NBC PFT power rankings. That's Mike Florio and Chris Sims. And everybody does their own power rankings, but I have more respect for these two and their rankings than I do any of the others. So looking at these rankings, we'll do 1 through 16 here. Okay. Number 1, they've got the Eagles. The only reason they had the Eagles are up there is because they're world champions and they're undefeated. They're 3-0. But the Eagles are 2 drop passes and 1 blocked field goal from being 0-3. In other words, their wins have not been all that impressive. Who'd they beat? They beat Dallas. Now, and the Rams should have beaten them. This past Sunday, they had the lead. They had a big lead, blew it, attempted a winning field goal at the end of the game, only have it blocked in return for a touchdown. The Eagles, I'm sorry, they just, to me, haven't been all that impressive. But you can't argue with them still being on top. The Bills are 2. Third on this power ranking list, NBC PFT power ranking list, are your Detroit Lions. 4, the Chargers. 5, the Bucks. 4 of the 5 teams in these rankings, 4 of the top 5 teams in these rankings are 3-0. Lions are the only team at 2-1 that have a loss. Okay. Eagles, Bills, Lions, Chargers, Bucks. Those are the top 5. Again, the Bucks. The Bucks are playing the Eagles this Sunday in Tampa. I'm already picking the Bucks to win that game, only because it's in Tampa. If it were in Philadelphia, I'd be picking the Eagles. The Rams are 6. The Packers have slid all the way down to 7. After that great performance on Sunday, the Commanders are 8. 9, the Colts, also undefeated. They have a big game in LA Sunday against the Rams. We'll find out if Danny Dime and the Colts are for real. And there are 3 good games on Sunday. Eagles, Bucks, Ravens, Chiefs, and the Colts, Rams. Speaking of the Ravens, they come in at number 10. The Chiefs are 11. 49ers also 3-0. They've got ranked 12th. Seahawks 13th. Steelers 14th. Vikings 15, and Broncos at 16. We still have 6 undefeated teams, 3-0 teams. Eagles, Bills, Chargers, Bucks, Colts, 49ers. So ESPN also has, in their power rankings, has the Lions ranked 3. Sports Illustrated has them at 3. The Ringer has them at 3, and NFL.com has them ranked number 3 this week. So, let's look at these. And what a touching scene that was after the game Monday night to see Al-Qadim Muhammad get a game ball from his coach. Last year at this time, he was sitting at home. If he continues to play like this, he had 2.5 sacks the other night. If he continues to play like this, I can see the Lions, before the season is even over, giving him a 3-year extension. I really do. Again, I can't say enough. I thought Kelvin Shepard, the defensive coordinator, and John Morton, the Lions offensive coordinator, both had a great game plan. Great game plan. And that option play with St. Brown and Gibbs, Dan Campbell, the Saints ran that play when Dan Campbell was on the coaching staff down there. Somebody brought that. I was not aware of that, but somebody mentioned that on Monday. Anyway, the Lions are 8.5-point favorites on Sunday against the Browns. I haven't decided which way I want to go with that yet. We'll find out Saturday morning when we make our picks with Jed and Andy. 8.5 seems like an awful lot, or maybe it even went up to 9.5. Thought I heard that today. Anyway, so before we get into these, one note. There is one note I wanted to pass along in college football. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer, who's in the running for the Heisman this year, just had hand surgery, and he will be out about a month. That's a blow to Oklahoma, and maybe his opportunity to win the Heisman this year. He was a front runner. John Mateer of Oklahoma is going to be out a month after just having hand surgery. Is that the only college football note I wanted to pass along to you? A couple of more things here. Lions are actually getting some love from ESPN, if you can believe it. According to ESPN analytics, the Lions are the favorites to win the NFC and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. But what a difference 2 weeks makes, huh? Now, they have the highest probability of making the Super Bowl at 20%. This is according to ESPN analytics. The Lions. Okay? The Eagles are second at 18%. The Packers third at 13%. The 49ers also at 13%. And the Bucs at 10%. That, folks, according to ESPN analytics. So last thing we're going to do is give you these Pro Football Focus grades, top 5 and bottom 5 on offense and defense. But before we do, as we always do, of course, a brief word for Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale. 517-610-5372, the only place around to go, the only place in our area to go for technical service. Tech services is the only place to go. There's no other place to go. But Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale, 37 Walter Street, directly across the street from Fat Jack's Automotive. There is no other place to go. 37 Walter Street. Anything, computers, new or used, flat screen TV, mounting, programming, setup, perhaps you're changing internet providers, you need that installed. Printers, new or used, anything at all. There's no other place to go. Get in there and see them. 517-610-5372, or like I said, 37 Walter Street, downtown Hillsdale. Telling me and Mickey sent you. Well, thank you very much. Now, quickly, these Pro Football Focus grades for the Lions after Monday night's game. Where do we want to start here? The 5 highest grades on offense. Penei Sewell, 98.7. That's the highest grade ever issued by Pro Football Focus. Penei Sewell, 98.7. You can't 100. Nobody's ever gotten 100% for Pro Football Focus. Penei Sewell has come closer than anybody to getting that. St. Ratledge, another high grade, 91.4. David Montgomery, 89.8. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 86.9. And Taylor Decker, 82.9. Highest grades on defense. Hutch, 91.8. DJ Reed, 83.0. Jack Campbell, bloody lip and all, 80.1. Hakeem Muhammad, 74.5, and Kirby Joseph, 63.2. The lowest grades on offense and defense. Offense, Isaac Tesla, 46.7. Khalif Raven, pardon me, 56.1. Brock Wright, 61.0. J-Bo, 63.2. Glasgow, 63.8. Pardon me. Defense, Pat O'Connor, 34.9. Meek Robinson, 38.7. Carry-on Arnold, 41.5. Branch, 45.7. And Roy Lopez, 49.0. One more thing, too. This is what happens when you have so many notes, you're likely to skip over one or two. But things that I wanted to mention to you here on the podcast. Couple things. Dan Campbell kind of hinted on his show this morning when asked about Terrion Arnold. Yeah, he is struggling, but they still have faith in him. It's quite possible, though, that he could share some of his playing time with Meek Robertson. He hinted that, yes, he's struggling, and then he did say, but we could stick a Meek Robertson in there and give him some playing time over there. If he continues to struggle like he does. That's something to keep an eye on. That's my only concern on the defense right now. Other than that, I mean, they played great. They really did. And they have a lot of respect that those guys want to play their hearts out for Kelvin Shepherd. They really do. Also, too, and I have been able to confirm this before we get out of here. The Lions, heard something today that the Lions have filed papers with the NFL in regard to Aiden Hutchinson. After looking at the film, especially after the Monday night game in Baltimore, teams are going after him with shot blocks. What I mean by that, one guy's engaging in line, the other guy low. That's illegal. You can't do that anymore. The Lions claim that that occurred at least 3 times during the game on Monday night, and obviously there was nothing called on any of those instances. And they can also look back on the first 2 games of the season. Teams are going after Aiden Hutchinson, deliberately trying to hurt him. That's coming out on the film when they look at it. And so the Lions have filed papers with the league to have the referees watch for that and look for it. Again, I haven't been able to confirm this. Okay. And of course, the Lions certainly aren't going to say anything about it. Dan Campbell didn't say anything about it on his show this morning, but that's what I'm hearing. I want to pass that along to you. And hey, when you're watching the game, even this Sunday, when you're watching the Lion game, focus in on Hutchinson. See if indeed that they are hitting him high and hitting him low, trying to take him out. Anyway, food for thought. I'm done here. I'll talk to you all again on Friday. Don't forget, every Saturday morning here locally at WCSR 92.1 FM with Andy and Jed on the Timeout Show. I can't thank you folks enough for watching and listening. And please remember to treat each other with respect. So until Friday night, I will simply bid you all a pleasant good evening. Say thanks so much for watching, and good night, everybody.